So today this second session we are going to begin a new unit, that is a poem written by Mudnakudu Chinnaswamy, that is under the title If I Was a Tree. Okay, dear students, as you know all that our syllabus has been reduced due to the pandemic that we faced very badly and still facing even today. And here we have a poem, an interesting poem by Chinnaswamy of our own state, who has contributed his major poems along with his profession. So a note on the poet. Let us see how and what is the contribution of Chinnaswamy to the literature here. And this particular poem is also translated into Kannada. And in the title, Nanondu Maravagiddare. No, it is originally written in Kannada by Mudnakudu Chinnaswamy. And this has been translated by a foreign writer, Western writer, who was born in England, Rowena Hill. So let us see and also see the titles Nanondu Maravagiddare in Kannada and the title If I Was a Tree. Okay, when you come to the author here, the original author has produced this beautiful, meaningful poem, If I Was a Tree. Mudnakudu Chinnaswamy was born in the year 1954 and is a well-known poet who hails from Mudnakudu. It is the name of his native village, a village in Chamarajanagar district of Karnataka. He has 2 postgraduate degrees, namely M.Com and M.A. with a DLit in social sciences. Okay, see, he had 2 post-graduations in his account or study that he has completed his M.Com and he was working on the same qualification. And in addition to that, he had his post-graduation again in MA with a DLit, Doctor of Literature in Social Sciences. He is a Director of Finance in Bangalore Metropolitan Transport Corporation, what we call BMTC, by profession, Director of Finance Department in BMTC. And when you come to the literature, poetry is his passion. So he had a lot of passion towards poetry. But he has worked in other genre of literature as well, besides having a wide range of interests in culture, theatre, and social work. He has brought out 24 books so far, which include 6 collections of poetry, 4 of essays, 3 plays, and a collection of short stories. So this is the contribution of this particular man. And imagine, he is working as a director of finance department, BMTC. Along with his profession, he had arranged time, planned time for his literary achievements also. Not only poetry that he has contributed or written so far. So there are essays, plays, and short stories are also written by Mudnakudu Chinnaswamy. And he is widely translated into many Indian languages apart from English, Spanish, and Hebrew. An anthology of his selected poems in Spanish has been brought out by the government of Venezuela under World Poetry Series. Imagine his poems, the translated poems, collection of poems of Mudnakudu Chinnaswamy have published in the Spanish language, and it was the Venezuela government which has brought them or published them or released them on its World Poetry Series. And now, students, you can imagine the quality of works of Chinnaswamy got translated into different languages like Spanish, Hebrew. Do you think that his works are so simple in themes? I don't think. Do you think that his works are so important for human life as of today is concerned? Yes, we can say yes if you study Mudnakudu Chinnaswamy here. He is a very good human being who also has a very much zeal and interest in social work. He wanted to bring and change the discriminatory society towards the equality in the society. So in the fields of caste, creed, religion, profession, knowledge, whatever, so he is interested in social work. And the present poem, If I Was a Tree, expresses the author's, the poet's zeal or interest or a wish or a desire of becoming a tree rather than a man or a human being here. Why? Because here in this poem, he has shared his experiences, the bitter experiences, the sad emotions where he himself experienced in his own locality. That is why, after thinking, after having such a feelings in his mind or heart, and after knowing that society can't be far from this discriminations, racial, caste discrimination as such, His soul desired to become a tree here, because when he compared a tree and a man, see here, it makes us be serious about a man versus tree. You find the same thing in the poetry. See, existentially or in the real sense, if you analyze the uses of both to the world community, to the nature, to our Mother Earth, whose contribution is more important here between man and a tree here. We all know that man is a very intelligent animal when compared to all the creation on earth. And now it is also clear that man is very much selfish, superficial, and always he thinks himself as he is the topmost superb creation of Almighty or God in the nature, and he behaves himself as the boss here. And my dear students, if you just think about these two things, man and tree, and trace out the differences between these two, so which topic written here gains more importance? Which safeguards everything, every aspect of life that is prevailed today is advantageous to the nature as well as Mother Earth. So it is the only tree. Forest, nature plays a vital role in balancing the healthy atmosphere for all the living things on earth. If you don't have trees, forests, nature, no living thing on earth, you notice there won't be any living things on earth. That is what the result without nature, without forest, without trees. And you can imagine how far trees, forests and nature is important to the survivability of living things on earth. Yes, it makes us think deeper, or at the outside you feel that the trees are more important, the forest is more important, the nature is more important for today's life of man. So you can say that it is necessary for us to conserve. It is must for us to preserve, safeguard, maintain a kind of equilibrium, equality with nature. Without nature, man cannot survive. But without man, humans, nature can survive still more healthily, isn't it? But whereas, can you expect a life of man without nature or trees, forests? It is not. It is too temporary for humans to live without trees. And dear students, to make yourself understand or be familiar with the theme of this poem by Chinnaswamy. So you have to think in all directions. The advantages, the usefulness, the healthy conditions that were contributed by this nature, trees, forests is much more important than what man has invented, discovered, developed today in the name of science, technology, and whatever it is. We don't disagree that all the invention or the discovery in science and technology is harmful. Maybe harmful, but also there should be a knowledge, awareness, common sense to man to use it in a proper way, in a constructive way. If you use them as he feels, lavishly, that is what he finds the ultimate death or end of human life on earth. If he misuses, if he uses them in a destructive manner, so it will cause the complete destruction, a full stop for living things on earth. So that is why I feel the poem was quite interesting, and I feel Mudnakudu Chinnaswamy is right in his decision, where he was very much sad and had a bad experience in his life, because he has experienced those kind of inequalities among the people here. And he was fed up being a human being or a man, because he has seen and he has experienced a lot in the very negative part. That means, a very, very sad, inhuman behavior of human beings treating each other. The discriminatory policies that today's man has made and practicing are made Chinnaswamy feel too bad being a human. So that is why, after seeing, after observing, knowing, and at last experiencing himself these kind of social evils, so he wrote or he penned a poem called If I Was a Tree. Nanundu Maravagiddare. What it might be. So, it is also our responsibility to read about the translator of this poem who has contributed and very well translated into English here, because one has to struggle a lot or take a very pain or hard work hard to translate a Kannada literature into other languages like Spanish or English as such. So it is the hard work of Rowena Hill, who was born in England in 1938 and went to school in New Zealand. She attended universities in New Zealand, Italy, and India, that is University of Mysore, Karnataka. She taught English literature at the Universidad de los Andes in Merida, Venezuela, where she lives. The last part of her life was in Venezuela, and where she takes the responsibility of publishing the collections of poems of Mudnakudu Chinnaswamy in Spanish language and introduced or brought them, released them on World Poetry Series. And you can imagine the hard work of Rowena Hill here. Because she all the way from New Zealand, she came to India, and then she selected University of Mysore as her place to study Mudnakudu Chinnaswamy's works in Kannada, sitting in university library and meeting Mr. Chinnaswamy, and spent her valuable time here in this university and with Miss Chinnaswamy, and learned a language that is Kannada, and she can able to understand Kannada at the end of her assignment, and she converted or transformed or translated Chinnaswamy's poetry to different languages and into English also. And she her travel history here, or tour of Rowena Hill here. She has traveled extensively to gain knowledge, to get the experience of different cultures and practices. Though she was born in England, she spent her childhood in New Zealand going to school and attended the universities in the major countries like New Zealand, Italy and India. And also she went to Colombia, USA, for her projects, to find the information, to collect the information, to study the cultures, traditions, and to learn the things of the other countries. She has published 4 books of poems in Spanish, as well as poems, essays, and translations in periodicals in Venezuela, Colombia, India and USA. See, her published works were released, published in the countries like Venezuela, New Zealand, Colombia, India and USA. She has translated some of Kannada's best known poets into Spanish. See, she has taken a very difficult aspects in studying the best Kannada's best known poets into Spanish. Among them, Chinnaswamy is also one. More importantly, it is to her credit that she has translated several literary works in Indian languages into English and Spanish. Yes. Her aim and hard work and the willpower that she has. She has taken much risk in her life to study the different languages and the literatures here. She has selected the best poets of our Kannada literature or language and tried and became successful in translating them into English and Spanish languages. So this is the contribution of the hardworking writer called Rowena Hill here. I think we should not forget to mention the name Ravenna Hill when being a Kannadigas, being a people who represented Karnataka, so how the pains and the difficulties and the risk that Ravenna Hill has taken to translate these poems of our Kannada writers into English and Spanish languages. So my dear students, this is the information about the authors of our today's topic, that is a poem by Chinnaswamy, If I Was a Tree. See, I am too deep and elaborative in giving you the information about the authors, the writers, the poets as such. Why it is important? To know one's knowledge of themes, to know one's themes in their works, it is required. So if you study a bit of their biography, about their works, about their attitudes, about the places where they lived in, and what are the things that they started learn and published, it becomes more important for a man who wants to know the complete theme or gist of his works, his or her works. So that is why, and coming to the pre-reading activity for this unit. Do you think that being a tree is more convenient than being a human being? Yes. This is the same thing in which I told you in the beginning of my class today. Of course, it is the second session that we are dealing with this poem after completing the Babar Ali, the chapter. And yes, can you trace out the differences between human being and a tree? Or is it more convenient to be a tree than a human being here? Yes, of course, one can say that, yes, but I don't think, if we think deeper into the subject or topic here, if you think spiritually into the topics over here in the long run, so both remain same here. And at last, the suggestion or the advice comes out of us, one who thinks deeper spiritually into these things, is correcting ourselves, changing our attitude towards the nature, towards Mother Earth, and rectifying our mistakes, treating everything on earth as equal as human beings, and to come out of superiority complex of where today's man boasting himself as he is the first among the creation. He is the master of the creation. No. He should not underestimate, discriminate nature. There is no life for him without nature. Nature, he cannot withstand or live without nature here. So that is why I said if you are more spiritual, these are the things that we have to rectify ourselves. We have to realize ourselves before we get a very dangerous situation in our future life. So that is why, dear students, so try to think on this topic and try to analyze yourself by reading this poem with complete. So, analyze yourself by studying the poem with concentration here. Because it looks very simple for you, because it is a translated work or poem. You feel simple in understanding the words, sentences, everything like that. But it is the poem based on a different kind of thinking should be taken here. You should be serious about the author and the theme of the poem here in this case. Because see, you feel somewhere in between when you start reading the poem that it is somewhat simple, it is so easy as such. But in the same way, if you think you can eradicate the social evils from today's society, is it easy? We can speak hundreds, thousands of words in front of so many people, use crowds, as a guest, as a chief guest, as a resource person, as a teacher, lecturer, professor, as a social worker, as a politician, you can speak hours together. In what? Eradication of social evils, maintaining the equality in all sects of life. It is easy to speak, it is easy to write, but to bring it to practicality is what difficult for today's man, because we have attracted towards that kind of practices. Somewhere it has been inbuilt within us the practice of this discrimination as such. So the discrimination on caste, creed, religion, color, rich and poor. So everywhere you see discrimination with these things. So it is not possible for anybody or for any nation to be away or out with these practices. Okay, they have inbuilt with our practices. So look at the picture provided to you in your textbook, dear students. It is a picture of tree given here, under which there is a cow, where we Indians pray, treat cow as a god or a goddess. And here it tries to say that all kinds of gods that were created by man, were picturized or on the picture of cow here. Means, spiritually, according to our tradition and the culture, we treat cow, particularly this animal, as a sacred one. We preach, we pray in a very devotional manner to this animal. Okay then, coming to poem. Open page number 54 of your textbook. Yes? Then listen to me carefully by observing each and every word and sentences here. I will just read it out once for you. Listen carefully. If I was a tree, the bird wouldn't ask me before it built its nest what caste I am. So maybe the structure of the poem somewhat has ups and downs here, but it is the meaning which is very important here. If I was a tree, the bird wouldn't ask me before it built its nest what caste I am. When sunlight embraced me, my shadow wouldn't feel defiled. My friendship with the cool breeze and the leaves would be sweet. Raindrops wouldn't turn back, taking me for a dog-eater. When I branch out further from my roots, Mother Earth wouldn't flee shouting for a bath. The sacred cow would scrape her body on my bark, scratching wherever it itched, and the 300,000 gods sheltering inside her would touch me. Who knows? At the end, hacked into pieces of dry wood, burning in the holy fire, I might be made pure or becoming the briar for a sinless body, be born on the shoulders of 4 good men. Yes, this is the poem translated by Ruvena. And students, if you want to enjoy the theme and the form of the poem, this poem, you can have a look at the original poem of Chinnaswamy in our Kannada language here. Nanondu maravagiddare. So I'll just read it for you. It is very interesting. ನಾನೊಂದು ಮರವಾಗಿದ್ದರೆ ಅಕ್ಕಿಗೂಡು ಕಟ್ಟುವ ಮುನ್ನ ಕೇಳುತ್ತಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ ನೀನು ಯಾವ ಕುಲ. ಬಿಸಿಲು ನನ್ನ ಅಪ್ಪಿಕೊಂಡಾಗ ನೆರಳಿಗಾಗುತ್ತಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ ಮೈಲಿಗೆ, ತಂಬೆಲರ ಕೂಡ ಎಲೆಗಳ ಸ್ನೇಹ ಮಧುರವಾಗಿರುತ್ತಿತ್ತು. ಮಳೆ ಹನಿಗಳು ನಾನು ಶ್ವಸನೆಂದು ಹಿಂದೆ ಸರಿಯುತ್ತಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ, ನಾನು ಬೇರೂರಿ ಕುಡಿ ಇಳುತ್ತಿರುವಾಗ ಭೂದೇವಿ ಮಡಿ ಮಡಿ ಎಂದು ಓಡುತ್ತಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಪವಿತ್ರ ಗೋವು ನನ್ನ ತೊಗಟೆಗೆ ತನ್ನ ಮೈ ಉಜ್ಜಿ ತುರಿಕೆ ತೀರಿಸಿಕೊಳ್ಳುವಾಗ ಅದರ ಅಂಗಾಂಗಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಅಡಗಿಕೊಂಡ ಮುಕ್ಕೋಟಿ ದೇವತೆಗಳು ನನ್ನನ್ನು ಮುಟ್ಟಿಸಿಕೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತಿದ್ದರು. ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತು, ನನ್ನ ಅಂತ್ಯಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಕಡಿದು ತುಂಡಾದ ಒಣ ಸೀಳೊಂದು ಹೋಮಾಗ್ನಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬೆಂದು ಪಾವನವಾಗುತ್ತಿತ್ತೇನೋ, ಅಥವಾ ಸತ್ಪುರುಷನೊಬ್ಬನ ಹೆಣಕ್ಕೆ ಚಟ್ಟವಾಗಿ 4 ಜನ ಸಜ್ಜನರ ಬಹುದಿತ್ತೆಯೇ. ಸೊ ನಾನೊಂದು ಮರವಾಗಿದ್ದರೆ. And there are so many other poems written by Chinnaswamy, Elubina Handaradolage, an interesting work from Chinnaswamy once again. And you have another work of Mulkaras Anand, a very great Indian writer in English here, who is a member of Bloomsbury Circle, London. His novel, The Untouchable, is also mentioned here. If you have a glance at these works, if you read a very short novel of Mulkaras Anand, make us really feel very happy, or even you feel really very frustrated with the practices that our ancient or old India had. So especially the casteism in India, the discriminatory policies, practices of our old people, where even the roots of these social evils have not been completely removed from us even today. So dear students, coming to the poem here, I'll just explain. The poem, listen to me carefully. You all will understand, even if you read on your own, you can analyze the difference here. Because we have discussed on so many topics familiar with the theme of this. Not only familiar and the theme here, but only thing is the accurate, the authentic study of the poem is remained here. Okay? Keeping all those things in mind, whatever we have discussed till now, so we'll just analyze or understand what exactly Chinnaswamy wanted to tell or insist or give a message through his poem, If I Was a Tree. If I was a tree, the bird wouldn't ask me before it built its nest what caste I am. See the first stanza here. If he became a tree, according to his desire, which think that he has become a tree. And the bird wouldn't ask me before it built its nest what caste I am. The bird who wants to build its nest in the tree, which is the poet, and the bird wouldn't ask the caste of mine before it starts building the nest. Is there any chance bird asking the tree, what caste are you, to build its nest? I don't think. And even the caste of bird or the man here who has become a tree is not necessary at all. The nature or the creator has created everything on earth. And there is a share to every living thing on earth in the nature that is there on earth. No creation on earth can claim that everything belongs to me or man or any other creation for that matter. No. Every creation has the equal right to share the produce, the creation on earth. First we have to think these things. First we have to practice this thing. There is nothing on earth which is specifically, particularly belongs to any one particular creation as such. No, it belongs to every creature, every living and non-living things on earth. So if you think like that, then you will be a human being. Then you will be right in your judgment or life as such. Otherwise, if you think selfishly that this belongs to me only, and this belongs to me only, and this is I have created, and this is I have discovered, I have invented, I have produced. No, so it belongs to me. If you have this intention, practice, belief, I don't think you are right in judging yourself. So that is why the bird would never ask my caste if it wants to sit on or build or construct a hut or a nest of its own in the tree. Never, never, never. So, the poet here is a tree. He the tree. And he has already become a tree in the poem itself. He has fed up with being a human being or a man here. He wanted to become a tree now. Why? Because he has seen all the ill, bad practices of man here. He is full of discriminations. He is full of ignorance. Nowhere he is equal in thinking, treating, practicing everything. Nowhere he has equality. In each and every aspect that he lived on earth has the practice and belief that there is a difference between man and animal, man and nature. So he has these kind of understandings. So that is why, as according to his desire, he has become a tree here. And if the bird wants to build a nest in tree, so the bird would never ask the tree that what caste it is. Never, never. When sunlight embraced me, who? The poet. In what state? He is in the state of tree here. When sunlight embraced me, my shadow wouldn't feel defiled. Yes. And the sunlight, the sun and its light is equally experienced or given to all creation on earth, whether it is a living or a non-living thing. Equally it sheds its light on each creation. It never discriminates and stops giving light to a particular creation on earth, thinking that it is bad, thinking that it is good. He is good, he is bad, and he is poor, he is rich, belongs to a low caste or the last sect division of in Varna system, Shudras. Never, 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 never. And it will never feel the shade or the shadow of the tree will never feel that it is defiled. Yes. Madiyagilla. So ಅಪವಿತ್ರವಾಯಿತು ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಯಾವುದು? ನನ್ನ ನೆರಳು ಕೂಡ. My shadow. When sunlight embraced me, when it falls on me, and even the shadow of mine never feel that it has become unsacred, okay, or defiled by touching the so-called the light of the sun. Never ever. My friendship with the cool breeze and the leaves would be sweet. And the friendship of tree here with cool breeze and the leaves is so sweet and sweeter that you can never experience it as man. He is very much intimate, happy with the cool breeze and the leaves. So he is very much a friend, amiable to the cool breeze as well as the leaves here. Who? The tree, as the poet as a tree. And then The raindrops wouldn't turn back, taking me for a dog eater. Yes. Raindrops wouldn't turn back, taking me for a dog eater. See, it rains naturally. According to the climatic conditions, according to the climate, weather, season, and the treatment of man on nature, everything, it rains. When it rains, the raindrops will fall on every creation on earth and everybody on earth. So called what we say, Brahmana, Vaishya, Kshatriya, Shudra. So it equally falls, the raindrops falls on all these castes, or the people belongs to all these castes equally. And raindrops have never discriminated and turned back, going again to the sky, thinking that he is a dog eater. He belongs to a low caste. He is a downtrodden. He belongs to a socially undeveloped, uneducated creed, caste. So it will never treat him as a dog eater, taking that, and that he is a poor. I should not fall on him, otherwise I will become defiled, impure. No. Raindrops loves everybody equally, and it falls on the every creation, and it shares its profit or advantages and disadvantages equally on all the creation, on earth in total. When I branch out further from my roots, which one? The tree. Chinnaswamy speaks as a tree. When I branch out further from my roots, Mother Earth wouldn't flee shouting for a bath. See, if my roots takes its branches, so many branches into the earth in different directions, if the root took deeper into the soil or Mother Earth wouldn't flee shouting for a bath. Mother Earth will never ever say or shout that I have to take a bath. Why? Because I was touched by this person, this tree. So I became impure. So I wanted to become pure by taking bath. So it will never run away from it. So it sustains every root that gets inside it. It means earth. It gives the same energy and same things for every root that it has on earth. So I think it is time, dear friends, dear students. Okay, thank you, everybody.